All right, hey everyone. This is Lee and Clay, owners of Clayborne Education, and we're here to talk about LSAT. Clay, I guess you might know a thing or two about that.
Yeah, I've worked on it for a few years. Yeah, it's kind of my favorite thing, almost my
Uh,
favorite thing in the world. But you know,
yeah. Well, with all the changes that COVID-19 pandemic has brought to the test world, I'm curious, what changes do we know about the LSAT? A- Anything
sure.
about test dates we've heard?
Yeah, so the LSAC is a little bit behind the curve. They did cancel the March test date, which was sort of a no-brainer, but they do still have their April test date on the books, and they've told us we'll know by April 10th, before the April 25th test date. So that doesn't really allow a lot of time. It essentially means, the bottom line is students should really be preparing for June or beyond, because they, unlike the GMAT and the GRE, they haven't kind of pivoted really quickly to a new option, and we're a little bit sitting on our hands as we wait.
Yeah, so you mentioned the GRE and the GMAT. Yeah, I noticed that both of those went to remote proctoring solutions. Can I take the GRE just sort of as a backup plan and plan to get into most law schools with just the GRE?
You can, but only if you meet certain criteria. The GRE is accepted by 60 some law schools right now, so still the minority of law schools, although a lot of the top ones are on the list. University of Virginia here in town is on that list. So it's definitely worth looking at ETS's website for the schools that take the GRE. But the other criterion is that you can't have already taken the LSAT. So you have to kind of be at the beginning of that process. If you have an official LSAT score, that is what all law schools are going to prioritize. It's useless to take the GRE in that case. If you don't have that, though, and you're looking at schools that take the GRE, I might jump on that and try to take that opportunity as far as it would go.
Well, if I'm an LSAT test taker and I've already started preparing, what should I be planning for the future? What should I be doing? Should I be changing course, or what would be your recommendations?
Sure. If you're pretty far into it, I would still stick with the LSAT. It is the gold standard. It is accepted by all law schools, so it's going to be universally what you want. And a lot of students are finding during this time that they have unanticipated disposable time to work on something like that. Uh, LSAC will be coming out with some plan for the LSAT. We can be confident of that. It may become more available. There may be more test dates. There may be online proctoring. So there will be opportunities to take it in the not too distant future. More broadly, I just want to mention that I think it's kind of a buyer's market right now with respect to students. I think probably some students, admitted students, are going to be deferring their admission to law school this year. Law schools, particularly the ones not at the very, very top, are maybe struggling with volume of students and looking to fill their classes. So there may be opportunities for this year that originally were not present, and for next year as well. Um, Frankly, it's not a great time to go into the job market, pretty clearly, but it's a great time to go to school instead, and therefore a great time to prepare.
And Clay, just to wrap up, remind me, if I have some disposable time, how much time should I be budgeting and preparing for the LSAT?
Yeah, that the average student takes about 200 to 300 hours to prepare for the LSAT. So it's kind of a part-time job, kind of like the equivalent of a college class or two. So best thing to do is think about how many hours per week you could devote, and divide maybe 300 by that. I'd love, I can definitely help people think more specifically about their particular goals and whether it's going to be more or less than that core figure. But it's a challenging prospect, and it's worth really counting the cost and planning it out very carefully before you get started.
Awesome. Well, Clay, thanks so much. We'll chime in with you again to hear about more updates as the LSAC sort of figures out their game plan for the summer. So
Sure.
thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thanks, Lee.